Hi, this is Natalie with A Fifth Journey, and I'm going to be doing a LaCroix soap. So this is my favorite, and probably my family's favorite kind, is the lime LaCroix. So if you go back and look at some other videos, I've done 3 other LaCroix. I've done the berry, coconut, and the citrus one. So I had been saving up some of the lime to go ahead and do that, but the biggest thing was I didn't have fragrance, but now I have the lime fragrance oil that I'm going to be using, and it's not supposed to discolor or have any issues, so hopefully that will all work out okay. The colors on this are going to be a little bit different because on the other cans you have the blue and then the bright green, but this one has a lot of green. So I am doing kind of a mix of colors. I have my blue, and this one is a blue mixed with a little bit of green for that line right there, and then I have a darker green for the lines up there, and then I have a really light green for the main color, and I may have to add a little bit more depending on what happens when I mix it. So with the other one, this is using the lime LaCroix. The last one I had used was kind of a mix of some different LaCroix, and because depending on what you use, I've done some research, it can cause graininess, it can cause acceleration. I didn't have any graininess, but I did end up with some acceleration. So we're kind of I'm soaping at a cooler temperature than normal, and a little bit different recipe. This recipe has some shea butter in it where my normal one doesn't, so I mean that's another hard oil, but it should be okay. And I'll go ahead and fast forward through the majority of this so you don't have to spend a lot of time watching all that, but I'm going to go ahead and do 2 loaves today, and hoping everything goes okay. One thing real quick, this green, and this I think is the only one that morphs, so when I put this one in, it's going to look kind of like a swamp green, nasty green, so it'll probably make this one look gross too because I mixed that with the blue. But then in about 24 hours it morphs back to that nice green. The other thing is I am using the full liquid amount. I'm not doing any type of discount, so this will take the full 6 weeks. But the reason why I'm doing that is, number one, I don't want it to move too fast, but also number two, with this look, and I kind of did this with the other ones, is I'm really okay with a little bit of the glycerin river look because of the way the can is. So let's go ahead and get started with my gloves on, and then I'll fast forward through this and we'll come back towards the end. As you can see, it's all done. Now the colors will morph and change back in the next 24 hours or so. That one green, as you can see, it's kind of a swamp green, that will turn back into that bright green. And the base color, I'm hoping that'll morph back because it's, when I first added it, it was really close to that color, but then it did kind of change a little bit. So I'm hoping that'll all morph back. And as you see, I made a giant mess, but that's why we have everything covered and our gloves on and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to go ahead, spritz the top of these with alcohol and put them in the oven to come to gel phase, and then we'll come back when it is time to cut them. We're back to cut the LaCroix soap, and I'm pleased to see that the greens did morph back. I ended up adding in more of that lighter green color because the label did not say that it had morphed, so it was kind of turning a weird green, and I was worried about it, but I'm glad to say it did morph back to the right color. I did have to wait a bit longer. Yes, I did use the full liquid amount because I was okay with the glycerin rivers with that, but it obviously did take a little bit longer. And if you go back and watch any of the videos of the other LaCroix soaps, There was one of them I remember that did take longer to unmold, so it must have been the fragrance oil. And this fragrance oil I have not used before. But we have a nice top on there, nice size, and it smells really good. This lime, it's a lime fragrance oil, and it smells a little bit, I think kind of like Skittles to me. So kind of like a lime Skittles. It does smell good. So I'm going to go ahead and trim up the sides and cut it. And I'll fast forward through that, and then we'll take a look once I get done with all of them. But I'm hoping, you can see we have those lines in there, but I'm really hoping that we have some good shapes in there to match the cans. And real quick, I have the ones over here that I had already made, and they are wrapped up. But we've got the berry, we have the citrus, and then we have the coconut in there, and you have the discoloration I had used. I didn't use any brown in this one, but I had discoloring fragrance oils. So those colors are from that, and these two I did use the micas in them. So set those aside, and I'll go ahead and, like I said, fast forward through this. Okay, we got all those cut. Now here's that can again. So with these other ones, I don't have any of those cans with me, but this color is a much brighter green. And then the blue, I use the same blue, but you can see here, since that can is so much greener, we don't want that to be green, because I think that one's pretty much close to that one. So I'm pretty pleased with how they turned out. I think the colors are pretty close. Do have some glycerin rivers in there, which is what I wanted, and you can see there's a little bit of a darker there because there may be a little bit of morphing in the color, but I'm happy with how those turned out. In this one, this was a mix of, this color right here is a mix of the blue and that green up there. I think they turned out pretty darn good. So I'm going to go ahead and trim them up. Stamp them, let them harden a little bit because they are still pretty darn soft, but trim them up, stamp them, and then put them on the curing racks, and we'll come back for a final look.